Most isekai, you have your typical fat, lonely loser. He goes outside, gets hit by a truck, and then becomes the ultimate badass with a harem and abs, and what a foolish plot. The Eminence in the Shadow would never do that. Here we have our main character, Sid, who is not a loser in the real world, but an actual badass who manages to pull a girl in the first episode. Jesus Christ, Deku had a whole series and couldn't do it. Here we got it done in the first episode, you bum. And if he pulled a girl in the real world, you can only imagine how many he pulls when he gets hit by a truck. The answer is 1,000, by the way, like literally 1,000. And despite the fact that Sid is a badass, the real catch is that he wants to be a background character. Kinda. You see, Sid is like Batman, where Batman has Bruce Wayne by day, Sid has Shadow by night. And only his legion of 1,000 waifus know his dual identity, constantly having to duck and weave between personalities to hide his true identity, not because of anything like danger to his family and friends. No, nothing stupid like that. The reason he doesn't want anyone to know who he is because it would ruin his power fantasy. Yes, I know, if you're watching one of my videos, you gotta be pretty dumb because I'm a dumbass. So let me break down this meta Twilight Zone-esque complex we got going on here. So Sid is an anime character who got isekai'd into a world where he has a harem and is super powerful, but he's making up these stories of villains and conflicts for him and his waifus to go pretend to be. You following? I know this is a little bit weird. Because of the fact that Sid is making up everything, he doesn't believe any of the shit that's going on is real. He thinks they're paid actors. He thinks that his waifu set it up for him and they're just playing along with him. But the catch is, everything he's saying and all the villains and conflicts he's talking about, it's all actually true. And Berserk, who? One Piece, what? Is that not the greatest piece of storytelling you've ever heard? Nah, jokes aside, it leads to really funny moments, but it does lead you to think, like, why do you actually watch it then? What is the story? Or is it just waifus running around BSing? And the only real answer about the story is that it is completely indescribable, and we'll see the characters in the story take dark turns, as well as the waifus being way more waifu-y than you may expect, so look out for that. So what I'm getting at is that basically Sid's desire to live out a power fantasy has given the author agency to basically write whatever he wants. Do we want to have a plot where a princess pays Sid to be her boyfriend because she is betrothed to someone else and wants that guy to fuck off? But then it turns out that someone else not only is a douchebag, but he's an evil cultist that Shadow has to go defeat, and then through that process and time spent paying Sid and being saved by Shadow, the princess falls in love with both Sid and Shadow. You see, that's pretty cool. Or do we want a run of episodes where Sid joins a tournament under a false identity, where he destroys everyone until the very end, where he reveals he was Shadow the whole time and stops the undergoing plot that every tournament arc eventually has? So basically every storyline just skips the intro and just has rising action, climax, and falling action, just yeeting out the beginning and the end. And at first it's really jarring. You're gonna feel like you accidentally clicked on the wrong season between each episode because it's like, what the hell is going on sometimes? But oddly enough, after a while you get used to it and you actually kind of like it. You dig it. It's different. What makes it really interesting is when there's two storylines going on with both Sid and Shadow, and how the writer plays with the concept of Sid not really being virtuous. We see him simp for money all the time. We see Sid lie and deceive his waifus. But if there's one scene that uses degeneracy to explain the overlap between Sid and Shadow, there's none better than this scene in the back.
Might I ask you to stop glancing over at my Excalibur?
You call that thing you have Excalibur? I think the word you're looking for is worm.
You may come to find out that what you thought was a worm was a sword that was merely still contained in its sheath.
What do you mean?
When a holy sword is removed from its sheath, its sparkling blade is set free to plunder the Garden of Chaos.
Well, that was something. This is not even close to the peak of degeneracy we will reach. What this anime has created in terms of horniness, in terms of degeneracy, is one of the craziest anime episodes of all time, with many calling it basically an H-anime. It's an episode that joins the ranks of Don and Arcane episode 7, something to rival the reveal of Gear 5, something that tops Goku going Super Saiyan. With that being said, it is time to talk about the might and the power of the Eminence of the Shadow Season 2 Episode 8. Our tale begins, like many in a cool anime morning. Sid's two friends burst into his room only to find nothing but a pair of tickets on his bed leading to the opening of a new spa center. They grab the tickets and immediately try and find waifus, only for the first waifu they asked to be a part of Sid's legion of waifus. Immediately upon interaction, the waifus feel that their leader Shadow is testing them to see if they'll notice the larger plot going on at the spa. They deliberate and decide that there must be something waiting for them, so they decide to go to the spa, a place of freedom, a place of degeneracy, a place where man and woman alike lose control of their gaze, pushing the boundaries of what is allowed allowed in a medium that allows everything. The girls relax from playing in the water, playing volleyball, or enjoying a bath, only to realize Shadow has given them a day off. Yeah, that was the whole fucking episode, solely for fan service. With this many waifus exposing themselves in disregard, the only way you can get a reward like this in real life is if you leave a like and subscribe. Please leave a like and subscribe. I'll be honest, when it comes to the larger plot of this series, it's better to just ignore it, because trying to figure out the plot sometimes, it's like an unsolvable puzzle. Like, what are we doing here? We're at the spa. Why are we at the spa? Because it's a fucking spa. Look at the waifus and smile. What, are you too good for waifus now? Huh? You grown up now and 2D characters are too good for you. Well, hey, sometimes waifus and spa are all an episode needs, and that's okay. But I'm sure, as you can tell by now, there's a lot of double-edged swords in this show. For example, with any type of satirical anime that has a lot of jokes in it, the more jokes you have, the more likely you're gonna miss. And they do a pretty good job of always being funny, but there's gonna be some episodes where it drags or gets a little annoying. For example, right, a huge part of the series is that Sid uses his knowledge from his past life to give his legion of waifus ideas where they monetize it to be the first to do it in their world in terms of clothes, chocolate, music, and so on. So in season 2, the waifus decide to make a bank and create a dollar currency, and then there's a whole episode run where they do some finance bro bullshit with inflation and fake money to raise the value of gold and take all the gold and sell it for more paper money. And at first that's sick, but then it just goes on for 4 to 5 episodes, and when something's trying to be quirky and funny and a little smartsy with this, it just starts to get annoying after a while. But at the same time, there's some plot moments that are genuinely good and interesting, with some that are gonna hit and some that are gonna be doing a bit too much. And the main avenue of this is the female cast, and they can fulfill whatever horny desire you have. We have quiet girls, cat girls, leader girl, crazy girl, clumsy girl, super crazy girl, nerd girl, super quiet girl, popular girl, princess girl, strong princess girl. There's a lot of female characters and a stacked voice acting cast too. Alpha is voiced by Nobara Hori and Mai's voice actor. Delta is voiced by Power and the JoJo girl. Alexia is voiced by Tachibana and Mitsuri. Beta is voiced by Rem, and Jesus Christ, ReZero fans, we got another delusional one of you here, because I have no idea who the fuck Rem is. Point being, the female cast, while being basic, they all give good performances and fit. I mean, with there literally being 1,000 waifus, they were always going to be simple and a little one-dimensional, but their dynamic and performance makes it genuinely one of the most interesting part of the series beyond all the degeneracy going on. And seeing how concerned they are for Sid, it reminds you that you are single, but also seeing how they interpret his messages and how much they actually care for him. And it's always super funny because all Sid will do to their affection is drop a one-liner where he pulls something completely out of his ass and they take it as gospel. If they ask why they're not doing something or how he's doing, he'll be like, no, I need to take a shit. They'll be like, oh my god, how do we not think of that? Komenasai, Sid-san. It would actually go down like that in the show. But even the characters not a part of his legion of waifus are really strong in writing, and I think it's clear the writer is insanely good at writing tragic stories and making you feel bad for characters. Like, let's take this wholesome character, Sherry. So Sherry is supposedly the smartest character in the series that lives with her father alone because somebody killed her mother, and she was there and found the body, and then this guy took her in and became her father. So she's become quiet and reserved, and she's doing deep research into some bullshit, whatever the fuck, I have no idea, and she runs into Sid. Typical rom-com bump. They lump eyes, but dump, move on. Then a little while later, Sid finds her, gives her a box of chocolates, and from there, of course, she will love him forever. Then as she's going to approach him and develop their relationship, their school is attacked and her classmates start dying, and she has to work with Sid to save them, and her father, who also worked at the school, has gone missing, so they need to find him too. Surprise, surprise, the father was not only behind the attack, but the father was the one who killed the mother and never told Sherry. So Shadow now, after finding out that the father is a killer and crazy, he kills him, and then Sherry walks in as to see another one of her parents dying, and Sid nor Shadow ever tell her the truth that the man that took her in is the one that killed her mother. Then Sherry, the sweet nice girl, completely loses it and dedicates her life to killing Shadow and gives up all of her other ambitions. Yeah, it can get pretty fucked up. I know that was a little complicated. It will make you think like, wait, damn, what the fuck just happened there? And there's similar sad storylines between two princesses feeling like they're not good enough and letting people down, or the legion of waifus feeling like they're not good enough. Like, I don't know how depressed the manga is, because shit gets so dark, it's like, god damn, what the hell? Why would you even conceive? What is wrong? Go to therapy. And this writer, it's really like one of those kids in class that gets all B's for the most part, but every once in a while, he got to ace a test that everyone else failed, just to remind everyone he's making a choice not to get good grades, and it's not because he's dumb, it's because he's just a little lazy. And this author, more often than not, likes to use his skills to set up a bunch of sick fighting scenes. There was this whole plot line where Sid saw the sun was red and went into a deep, chilling anime speech where he was like, The sun is red, the night is wry, we must perch the skies as the end is near. Completely pulling it out of his ass, and this led into a badass 3-episode run where vampires come to life and a vampire queen comes back from the dead. They have this huge ass battle, characters almost die, and it really leaves you almost wondering if this show is about a schizophrenic maniac that is about to die, because how is everything he's saying coming true? We have vampires, terrorists, cults, everything, and both personalities can get women. Like, too much is going right for him right now. But Sid being strong enough to fight people like this, it might have been explained at some point, but honestly, I missed the explanation or I forgot. It literally has no impact on my enjoyment of the series whatsoever. There's whole plot lines where I did not know what the fuck was going on, but the fight scenes and just the character interaction and the conversations were enough to let me know what was going on, and more than enough to entertain me. I mean, look at this fight scene, look at the effects. I don't care who you are or what you like. This shit is sick, and on top of that, we get waifu fighting too, so even if you don't give a shit about comedy and plot, you get badass choreography and abilities. And when you get into the fact that Sid is playing a character, you almost start to anticipate moments like this.
I'm atomic.
The show grows on you over time, and it feels like you're playing a video game where both you and Sid start thinking, yeah, enough fucking around, it's time to lock in and blow shit up. And oh my god, it is so rare for fight scenes to be this fun and epic, and they pull it off so well. And I know the post Demon Slayer and JJK age is an unreal standard for animation and art styles, and for isekai standards, this is like a 9, only behind ReZero and Mushoku Tensei. But what really sets the anime apart is the fact that it just doesn't take itself too seriously. I mean, one of the main villains is literally called Pervy Asshat. Like, that is literally his name, and even with Sid wanting to play along in his power fantasy, you can tell they are openly making fun of themselves and the genre, and it's just so much fun to watch. But what is more fun than the Eminence in Shadow is this video right here where I roast 100 anime to oblivion. Go be pissed off, and don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and we're just getting started. We're gonna stay consistent, and I will see you in the next video.